Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes and subscribe every single damn time. Fulham versus Chelsea preview. Now before we get into the team, before we get into the tactics, we must talk about Andre Santos. I know it's a little bit early. Maybe the early bird does catch the worm, but listen, the season is young, but Andre Santos is not playing games. Against Brentford, he was on the bench, unused substitute. The game before, he didn't even make the bench. Nottingham Forest piled on a bunch of extra midfielders late on in that window. I am not impressed. I am not happy. This guy was shelling it out, balling out in that preseason, looking tidy, looking calm, looking composed, looking gifted, looking talented. Yeah, that's the class he was in. That was the program he was in, gifted and talented. And for me, if this talent does not get game time and January is on the horizon, I hope that there is a break clause in his contract and he is removed from that situation, and the second half of the season we can hopefully free up a foreign loan to maybe a Strasbourg or wherever, and maybe Ziyech can go on a free to Galatasaray, whatever needs be. We need to be making sure that this guy is not wasted for the whole season, because to be honest, I think he could have done a job for us in our team anyway. As I said in pre-season, I was really impressed. Obviously, Poch made his decision with Leslie Okachoku, no problem, but he must develop while he's away. Because if he's not developing whilst he's away, then again, all of these young players coming in at once, it seems more scattergun with the multi-club model not in place, seems more foolish. So we must make sure we're getting a development of their, season correct, the integration, development side, not just the recruitment. So moving on, more happy thoughts. Pochettino kind of hinting little inklings that he's not really too involved in the Cucurella, saga in the summer, potentially leaving. Board have really kind of made their move on that. He's saying he's now more involved in transfers in January. Is that hinting that Cucurella maybe has a chance? Who knows? He played him against Wimbledon after his move to Manchester United broke down. It was really odd. Well, before his move to Manchester United broke down, it was kind of odd. A lot of the fan base was confused. But maybe it just goes to show that Pochettino maybe is willing to use Cucurella more than the board is willing to keep him. And we've seen this before with Gallagher, and then Gallagher gets made captain after the board were trying to sell him. So Pochettino maybe actually rates Cucurella to a decent level. Obviously, Chilwell's captain, vice captain, so that doesn't help his cause. Maatsen as well can play left back, championship team of the season, but Pochettino continuously refuses to mention Maatsen as a left back. He mentioned in the presser Colwell, he mentioned Cucurella, he mentioned Chilwell, he ain't mentioning Maatsen. So really that's one centre back and two left backs that he's mentioning. Maybe Cucurella has a chance, so we're going to see. But he, a lot of reports over the last couple of days about the psychology and what Pochettino is trying to do for the players in terms of providing that culture, that kind of surrounding for them, that base level, kind of homely feel. The lemons are being interchanged just as much as the players are, it seems. But we're going to be seeing now if that's had an impact against Fulham. Mudryk as well, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of press on him in terms of his settling in, obviously with the, war in Ukraine, maybe took his toll for him mentally. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, which is why I kind of just ruled out his first, 6 months at Chelsea, not just because it was unstable team, unstable tactics, unstable managerial direction, but also difficult for him in his home country as well mentally. So for me, Mudryk's Chelsea career kind of started this season. We're starting to get a couple of consistent games out of him. He is in the gym a lot. He loves to gym. He's not filming butt crack, but he's still lifting weights. I'm praying that he is, not overdoing it. Some sources for Chelsea are saying maybe potentially we have to balance that with the books, balance that with the performances, and also, of course, the training in terms of the football. We need you to use the football. Play with the football. Don't just lift the weights, play with the football. So we'll see how that goes. But balancing the books will be difficult if you don't play well, because you're expensive, brother. So get to work with that football and put that ball in the back of the net for us, hopefully against Fulham. Now, we are going to move on to the Fulham side of things because we're going to pay respects. They're at home. So let's talk about Fulham and then we'll come back to Chelsea. So we're here under the lights at Craven Cottage, just like Chelsea will be against Fulham Monday night. They're currently 12th in the league, 8 points from 6 games. Those points come in with wins against Everton, against Luton, and then draws against Palace, and that late equaliser, which I got a little glimpse of, a little inkling, with Paulinho from a set piece against Arsenal at the Emirates. Probably their most impressive result so far this season. Now, For me, the two teams, obviously, when they play each other, we played them in pre-season, not to forget, in Cuckoo and Silva with the goals. But when I've watched Fulham on the odd opportunity I've got this season, the statistics do back up a little bit with what I'm watching. 20th for shots taken, 19th for big chances created. They have a lot more points accumulated maybe than what the football shows. Obviously, they're missing Mitrovic from last season, that big top goal scorer for them, making that move. And then obviously Vinicius coming into the team on the odd chance. Sometimes Reed scores as well this season, but Jimenez, no goals off the mark. He hasn't really looked the same since his head injury. So in terms of threats, you're looking at the supporting cast. Sometimes Pereira, Willian, of course, as well. A lot of underlapping runs, overlapping, crosses into the box, set pieces, like I mentioned, dead ball specialist, maybe in Harry Wilson as well. He's got a decent strike on him from his days at Derby County, and Willian can strike him, as we do know, because we lost here 2-1 against Fulham last season. Willian's late winner. But apart from that, it's 2 wins out of last 3 here. It's 4 wins out of last 5. So we do pretty well here usually. We should be able to come in and dominate possession. They have about 51% average this season. That rises to 67% here. But that's because it's been Luton who massively inflated that number. And like I said, they've only played here twice this season. Most of their games have been away from home. So they don't tend to try and dominate possession, so to speak, and we should be moving the ball around quickly, keeping it, and mainly controlling this game. Like I said, we just need to be on our best behaviour from set pieces, from dead ball situations, wide areas. The crosses will come in. Reed will tuck in. If you take a look at the team now, the potential Fulham team that could play, Reed, not really an out-and-out winger, more of a striker. In his championship days, he'll be an extra number in the box, and then Pereira, Willian potentially will link up and combine to try and create opportunities off that left-hand side. If Vinicius comes on, that's an extra body as well. But like I said, it's really set pieces and crosses, guys. We should be able to hold, handle, and then obviously try and manufacture our own goal if we can. Now, in terms of injuries for them, Bassi is a doubt, Tete is a doubt. These two players will be massive upgrades potentially to the starting 11 if they're available, but we're not too sure if they're going to play. So for me personally, like I said, we should be trying to continue our good record here. We should be winning. We should be controlling the game, and like I said, as long as we defend our set pieces and Sanchez claims those crosses when they come in, and we should be fine. I say that should because they are above us in the table, regardless of what the stats show, expected points, XG, that is what it is. We are behind them, so there's a reason for that. We don't put the ball in the back of the net either. We need to do so. So listen, it's going to be a good game. Let's see what happens, guys. So let's get to Chelsea now. Let's talk Chelsea. So I've gone through those comments. On the last video before previously, people were talking about, Caicedo maybe could play right back, Sterling is most likely going to play up front. You need to make a couple changes here and there. So we've done so. The community has spoken. So this is the team. This is the team that we really think is going to play against Fulham. Washington was a shot in the dark. It was a hit and hope. It's never really going to happen. He's played 0 minutes so far under Pochettino. This is the team that is most kind of likely and maybe the best outcome for me personally. I've gone with Sanchez in goal. I've gone with Caicedo at right back because he's obviously played there previously for Brighton up against Arsenal at the Emirates, and maybe could potentially lock up one of the biggest threats in this Fulham team in Willian, especially when Pereira, as we said in the Fulham section, could potentially pull out to that left-hand side and double up. It would just mean that there's someone defensively resolute over there. On the left back, it's Cucurella, centre-back pairing keeping the same, no Silva, to kind of continue the good work from midweek. Then you've got Leslie Okachoku and Enzo in the double pivot. That could become a 3-3-1. A 3-3 build up, I guess, because obviously the keeper, and then you've got the 3 centre backs, Cucurella making the left side centre back, Caicedo going into midfield. You've got your 3-3 or 4-2 build up. Then in the 10, Palmer, left Mudryk, right Maatsen keeping his place, and up front Sterling, because like I said, Borough as well, he's not clocked up even more than 15 minutes since he's come back from injury, so he's not going to start and play a full 45 or 60 in my opinion. Maybe he will, but probably most likely off the bench, Sterling up front. So that's the team. Now, like I said, this is a team that does lack a striker, does lack a goal scorer, but we should have so much of the ball, so much dominance, and so much authority on this match. We should be able to create those opportunities, those openings, especially with Palmer in the 10, who looked brilliant in the last match. Maatsen as well, good player on that right hand side, technically sound and very versatile. Should be able to create those clear-cut opportunities so we can at least bag a goal. My score prediction is 1-0. Like I said, The only kind of crux maybe in this team is the fact that Caicedo is playing at right back and not in midfield. I didn't want to pull Disasi over to the right back position, even though he can, because I didn't want to move Silva in and then go 3 centre backs again. I want to keep it attack minded. I want to be in their faces and really on the front foot. They, like I said in the Fulham section, struggle this team for goals. Really a lot of set pieces, of course, with Ream getting a goal this season as well. You know, Paulinho got a goal from a corner against Arsenal. But when you look at the forwards, it's Reed, it's Vinicius, and it's also Pereira with 1 each on goals. Jimenez, no goals this season, lost Mitrovic. So let's really suffocate this team. Let's really push and try and make sure that we can put them to the sword. That's my team. That's my thinking. That's my prediction. Let me know your team in the comments down below. Let me know your score prediction. Big up your damn selves every single damn time. In a bit, people. Peace.
La la la